All right, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Middlesbrough District Council, I'd just like to welcome you all to the Power of Video webinar, which is one of 13 events across Enterprise Week helping support local businesses. Just a quick bit of housekeeping before we start. The session is being recorded, so we can upload to the Council's website for those who can't attend today or if you wish to revisit it, but you will not be seen or heard throughout today's webinar, so you don't need to worry about being on camera or anything like that. We want the session to be as interactive and engaging as possible. So as we go through the session, please feel free to enter your questions using the Q&A function on your Zoom toolbar. And we will pick all of these up as we go along and come back to them at the end or throughout the session. I'm delighted to introduce today's speaker, Aislínn Higgins from Dream Media Ireland, for what should be an amazing, interesting and informative session. Feel free to take notes as you go, but slides will also be sent to you later today. Hi, Aislínn.
Hi, how are you? Hope you're all keeping well. So can I share my screen now, Sarah?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so just let me give you 2 secs. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the webinar. So this webinar is called The Power of Video, and there is no business like show business. So first of all, thank you for having me and thank you for signing up. So a wee bit about me. So you might have met me before. If you have, hello, and you might see me out and about filming. I would film women in business events, all the planned events who are hosting this webinar today, helping with the technical stuff. And I have been producing video for about 17 years for TV and online platforms. So I first started out in the media. So I'm just going to give you a bit of background before we delve into the webinar. So I started out in a community radio station when I was 13. And that's when I knew I had a real interest in creating stories and telling stories through the media. So once I finished school, I done a media degree in the University of Ulster. And then I started my first job, which was for a company called Gate 49. And it was to produce online video for the Irish newspaper. So this was way back like 17 years ago, before video, like online video was really a big thing. So it was kind of a wee bit before its time, but I had to go out and do vox pops every day. You would have seen me outside Castle Court or outside the City Hall and kind of asking topical kind of questions. And then I would have had to do a news piece as well. So then I went on to Fermanagh TV, and it was a channel online in Fermanagh, and I had to make video content for that as well. And then I would have made video news packages for the BBC and different things like that. So I always did that, but on the side, I always made corporate videos for businesses and events, and I kind of started getting into that more than doing the kind of new stuff. So after about 9 years, I left that company and I went out on my own to start off Dream Media Ireland. And I also done a bit of presenting for Irish TV for my 2 programs called County Matters. One was in County Down and one was in County Antrim, and it was a kind of a magazine type program. So I've loads of experience making videos, short videos, long videos, and kind of over the last kind of couple of years, the videos have really changed. So when I first started making the corporate videos, it would have been big, like long 5-minute, 6-minute videos. But now, as you know, Instagram has changed all that, and TikTok, it's right down to shorter content. So hopefully throughout this presentation, I'll be able to give you some ideas and some tips and tricks how to make your videos better from just using your mobile phone. So move on to the next slide. So just let me move this a bit. Yeah, so creating captivating Instagram and TikTok videos is one of the most effective Instagram marketing strategies. So their videos can be from anything from 3, and it's just changed recently, to 90 seconds long, and they can be uploaded directly from your phone by transferring the files onto your phone from another source. So this gives you lots of flexibility in terms of how you can use video content to enhance your Instagram marketing strategies. So that's just a wee bit about the marketing strategies. Sorry, I need to change this over. Yeah, sorry, I'm new to these slideshows. Okay, so let's talk a wee bit about how you make a video and why you're making the video. So before you start making your video, you need to set clear goals. So first up, set clear goals. It's hard to tell a story within 90 seconds. And this is something I have struggled with because, you know, you really want to tell a story, but you need to get all the wee bits in. So putting it all into 90 seconds is a wee bit hard. So the more you plan and the more you think about what you want in your video, the better it's going to be. So before beginning, ask yourself, what is your end goal in sharing your video? So if you want to write some of this down while you're going along, but I think you've got this slideshow as well. But so are you trying to gain new followers? Are you trying to get more personal with your followers? Or are you trying to drive traffic to your website? So you need to be specific. The tone and feel of your video will depend on what you hope to achieve by posting it. So I also have my own Instagram channel called Dream DIY, so completely different to my business. So it's a DIY Instagram channel. I actually just won the Home Influencer of the Year at the local NI Social Media Awards there at the start of October. So I definitely know how you're all feeling about trying to get followers and how to drive traffic to your site. So for me, my channel is I just want to inform and inspire people. So I'm not actually selling anything, but if you were selling something, you would have to kind of think, what is my end goal? Where do I want the people? Okay, I want them to watch the video, but I want to make a sale. So if you look to the side of this slide, it has, this was a video I made a couple of weeks ago. I teamed up with JP Corey and they provided me with some insulation for my attic. So they didn't want me to make like a sales kind of ad. So this was, I had to think of what way I could show their brand, but in kind of an authentic way for my channel. So this was 5 benefits of insulating your attic. And I'll tell you, it was tough. It was so tight up there in the attic. But in the video, it's just me kind of showing what I was doing. But then in the caption below, I had all the information of all the benefits. Because you couldn't get all that text into the video. So my hook was the 5 benefits of insulating your attic. And then the next slide would have been read my caption below. So that was a really good way for me to show that product, but then also JP Corey could use that video and put it on their platform. So I'll talk a wee bit about this later, but that's called user generated content. So you can get other people to make videos for your channel without you even having to make them. So it's something to think about. Then the next thing is to tell a story. So we all love listening to stories from our kids. That is what, you know, really sparks your interest. So you want to attract attention with your video, then make a video that tells a story. So you don't necessarily have to, like when you were making documentaries and things, you would like do a storyboard, but you do need to plan out your video to use every second to the best that you can. So you need to manage your time, divide your story into 3 parts or 3 acts, the kind of way in school you're probably taught to do a start, middle and end for an essay. So that's what you kind of have to think with your story is how do you do the beginning, how do you do the middle and how do you do the end? And you want to know kind of how long each is going to be, because if you are making a video that is, you know, 12 seconds, 30 seconds, you want to know how you're going to put that all together. So if you look to the little slide beside it, they're of the little pig. So this was a video that I made a couple of weeks ago, what to do with your leftover pumpkins. So I had loads of pumpkins left in the house and I wanted to do a video to show what I was going to do with them. So the end goal was I was taking them to a farm to give them to the pigs. So, but how did I tell that story? So I started off with a piece to camera explaining if you're like me and have lots of pumpkins left over from Halloween, listen up or watch this video. And then I had to think out how am I getting from my house to the farm. So then I took a shot of me taking the pumpkins off the doorstep, then carrying them in a basket to the car, then in the car, getting out of the car, showing the farm, and then round to the pig, throwing in the pumpkin, the wee pig coming out, eating the pumpkin and going back into his wee or her wee house. And then when I went back, I was able to put that all together and put a voiceover in it as well. So it was telling a wee story. I could have just said, I bring my pumpkins around to a local farm, but you want to make it interesting and a wee bit more, you know, nicer to watch. So always think of how you're going to tell that story. So points to remember, Instagram and TikTok videos play automatically when you start. So make sure you start your video with something eye-catching or something that's really going to grab your audience's attention. So this will help it stand out and draw people into your story. So as I said, you want to make sure it has a middle and an end to your story. And at the end of your video, you need to include a call to action in which you ask your viewer to take some sort of active step to engage with your content or brand. So again, it depends on what you're trying to, what is your call to action? It could be just to go to your website. It could, for me, it's just really, I would like more shares, more likes, or more saves. So just kind of think, what is that call to action? Is it to go to your bio and find out more about your, your product or your service? So, and then this is really important, and something I have had to learn is that Instagram and TikTok videos play mostly silently. So you know yourself, you're in bed, you're scrolling through your phone, but you don't want to wake up your husband or your partner, or you're on the bus or something. So kind of think, does this video make sense if there's no sound in it? So it's useful to use on-screen captions or text. So keep that in mind. So there are 4 types of valuable content that you can create. And the first one is educational content. So that could be something like, a tutorial that you're showing. So for me, if I want to show how to plaster a wall or how to tile, or if you are a baker, you want to show how to make a recipe, something like that. So there's educational content that is teaching your audience something. Then there is entertaining content, and that is basically just something that keeps your viewer watching. So it could be anything from you, dancing to, just something like your animal or your dog or something, just something that's entertaining that you want the audience to keep their eyes on. And then inspiring content, this is something that you want your followers to go away and feel inspired. So if I'm thinking about my content, it would be, so say if I tiled my hall recently and I'm showing that like I'm a girl, I can do it. You want them to go away and feeling inspired that I could do it. Or if you're like a life coach or something like that, you're giving inspirational quotes or motivation for the audience to go away and do something like an action. And then you have promotional content, which is a product or service or competition. So promotional content, you see it all the time. People, Bella Mianta, the tannin product, the promotional content where you're showing the product and you want your audience to buy the product. So that is promotional content. So now that you know all what the valuable content is, you have to kind of decide what is the best type of content you should create, considering your own brand, your aesthetic, your products, and what story you want to tell within your video. So once you kind of think that, then you need to get brainstorming. So what I like to do is I would go through Instagram or TikTok and kind of look at the accounts that I get inspired by, and I would save them. I would save the audio, and you don't want to copy them. You want to keep your own kind of, your own style, but that's how you get the, the ideas. And it might not be anything even related to your niche, but you could kind of use that idea and use it in your own channel. So I would write them down, keep them in a wee book. And then when I go to, create my content, you can go back and you can see some of the ideas. So these are some examples of types of ideas that you could do. So there is show off your results. So this is basically you showing off the result of a product or a service that you're selling. So this is kind of between educational and promotional. So it showcases the results of their product and how powerful it can be. So this is my good friend Denise Curran. You might follow her. So she is showcasing Be Perfect makeup here. So this is an ideal way to show off the product. So she's showing, before and after, and just how good she looks. She looks good before it, but she looks amazing after using their product. So that is showing off, how that's being used. So think yourself, how can you show off your product or your service? And so that is one thing that you could do. So the next thing is show off your skills. And so showing off the skills to make you an industry leader. So for me, like, again, I'm just going back to the DIY page because it's easier for me to explain. If it's me showing off my skills, how to paint a door, but doing it professionally, going through all the different steps. If you can see here on the right, this is Body Fit Mums. She is a great one to follow. So if you can see here, she is showcasing her top 5 Pilates moves of the week. So she is showing her expertise here within her niche. And you can also notice that she is adding a lot of text as well. So so when you go onto her post, you're saying, right, you know what you're getting. And then as she goes through that video, she gives the top 5 Pilates moves. So she's showing off her skills. If you were, a mortgage advisor, show off your skills because you want to show off your information. These are the top 5 things that you need to consider when moving house or something like that. But you just want to get across your skill set that no one else has and just show your uniqueness. Then the classic before and after, we all love these. I do these for showing off a room, and then before it, how bad it was, and then how good it was. This is a local hairdresser, again showing off the hair before and then the hair after. So basically, as it says in the slide, this is what it says. The videos showing what it was like before and what it is like now. And this is also a powerful testimonial, and it's great for building that trust in you and your expertise and your product and service, because you're seeing firsthand, right, that is what it was like before, and because you went to me, this is what it looks like after. So it's a really good way of showing off your product or your service. So then behind the scenes, there is no better way of creating engagement and creating loyal potential customers than doing behind the scenes work. People want to know more about you and want to build a relationship with you. So I know this firsthand. When I first started off my little page, I was just putting up photographs, the odd video, nothing much. But once I started doing my stories and talking on the behind the scenes, showing behind the scenes, that's when my following started to grow. I had really no engagement before that. And then when people got to know me, and you actually start to become friends with people. So behind the scenes is what people love. People love having a good nosy. So the example to the left there is a girl called Caroline from Hidden Her. So these are all kind of local people. So just trying to show you that this is what people are doing on Instagram and TikTok. So basically, this is her new brand of her products. So she has created this brand for curling tongs and her dryers. So this actual video is her going into the chemist to look at her products for the first time, and you're really engaging with it because you have been following her behind the scenes. You know her, you're proud of her, you're so delighted that this is an amazing achievement for her. So you really feel that empathy with her. So the behind the scenes things really do work, and I really recommend doing this if you can. Oh, that went back. Sorry. Okay, sorry. So then we have reviews. So 92% of people trust other people's recommendations more than a branded content. So again, going back to my installation, JP Corey could have put up, this is our installation, and it's great, but because my followers know that I've been doing work in the house, they kind of trust my judgment. Because I'm saying it's a good product, then you're more inclined to go and use it. So the product can be, this can be a product review, a testimonial, or a text video. So the Belfast food blogger, Connor, another friend of mine, he's a lovely guy. He would do like restaurant reviews. And he that is great for those restaurants. If he's coming in saying, I really enjoyed coming here, I got a lovely meal, you're more inclined to go to that restaurant. So reviews are brilliant. And again, if you are engaging with your customer all the time, ask them to send you a review. Even a text review, you can make that into a video. So always think of all these wee things that you could be having a little bank of reels, ideas for Instagram or for TikTok. So I spoke about this earlier. This is the user generated content. So this is any content, text, videos, images, or reviews created by people rather than brands. So this is a really great way to get more content without having to do the work, which is something we all want to do. So a great example of this is GoPro and Airbnb. So if you look at GoPro, they use all, nearly 90% of their videos are other people's videos that have been using the GoPro little camera. And because the camera is so good, the videos are so good, people are tagging them and they are getting free content for their channel. And again, Airbnb, all these kind of like travel bloggers are going, making these videos, they're tagging Airbnb because they want to feature on their page, so they get more followers. And again, this is something that you could even go to an influencer and work on a branded content. Some of this is paid, some of it's for free. So it's always something to think, if you don't want to be on camera, how can you get your product to be on camera without you actually having to show your face or do the work? So you can also do a series. So this, for content that requires more than a minute of screen time, create a video series that you can break up into 60-second segments or episodes. So this is a great way to engage with your followers, as they will come to expect the up and coming videos, and they will keep returning to your Instagram account to watch your story unfold. So there's a girl that I follow, Catherine, and she is like a marketing kind of consultant. So she does these Instagram hack series, and she does them every week. So I always go back to find out what is the new hack, or what is the new, kind of take on Instagram this week. And if you're maybe a nutritionist, I can really say that word. If you're a nutritionist and you want to give, your top 5 tips to get a healthy gut, you could do one week one tip, the second week another tip, third week another tip. So break down your content, because you want to be on Instagram and TikTok for a long time. So kind of think, how can you make your content stretch? Okay, so you also have time-lapse videos. So these are especially popular when filming a scene in which there's constant movement. So iPhone users can use time-lapse videos directly from your phone, or Android users can download Lapsit or Time-lapse, both of which will record a time-lapse effect. That's very hard to say. So if you can see the example here, I was doing a job for AVP, and they're a food company. So they had a competition for young people. So I just set up my phone on that little cage. I'll explain what that is in a wee minute. And just set it and let it record. And then I put it up, can you spot yourself? And there was loads of engagement, because people really wanted to see if they could spot themselves that day. Really simple, took me no time to do. And I also, again, use this for my DIY. I will stick it up, go like cut the garden or rake the lawn, and then just put it up with some kind of information about why it's good to pick up leaves or something like that. So a really simple way of making videos. So now that you've got all your ideas of how, what type of videos you can make, now you have to actually make it. So first of all, you need a phone. So you can have your Android phone or your iPhone, and I would recommend that you use your in-camera app. So when shooting your video, the first step is deciding what camera to shoot with. So obviously for me, I have my other big camera as I'm a videographer, but now the iPhone is just as good in many instances. So you need to work out what camera to use on the phone. So basically the front of your camera is the best, or yeah, so I'll put it up this way. This camera is the best camera, and the one like this is it's not as good as the back camera, but it's still good for like selfies and things like that. I would recommend using the actual phone camera and not the camera in Instagram or TikTok, because it's quite glitchy and it's not as good quality. So always use the in-camera app of whatever phone you have, and then put it into Instagram after, if that makes sense. So here's a few pointers to guide you before you begin shooting. So you want to work out, are you going to shoot in portrait or landscape? So nowadays, years ago, if I had been doing something like this, I would have said to shoot in landscape, but now everything is portrait, unless you're going to be using these videos on YouTube. do it landscape and then make your micro content from the longer video. But if you are just solely doing Instagram and TikTok, do it portrait. So you want to keep your shot focused on your subject. So you can focus your smartphone camera by tapping the part of the screen that you want to be in focus. So for example, you tap the subject's face to maintain focus on her face, or tap to the left and right if you want her face to be out of focus. And this is a really simple tip, but always clean your lens. Our phones are absolutely disgusting because they're in our handbags and in our pockets. So the lenses are always dirty. So make sure you give them a wee wipe before you start, and you really will notice the difference. So equipment, this is always something I get asked about. So generally you can just use your phone and you don't need any equipment. But if you do want to make your videos look a wee bit more professional, you need to get some equipment that will help make your life so much easier. So what you can do is, sorry, I just want to, let me sec. It just disappeared there. Back, sorry. So to make your videos look more professional, get yourself, oh sorry, I already said that. Sarah, I can't see the chat, so if there is anything, just jump in. So that's what I was trying to do there.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'll let you know.
Okay. Sorry, I just I can't see it when I'm on the presenting screen. So if there's any questions there, just let me know and I'll stop. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the cage is this little thing here. So you can see it in the top right hand corner of the screen. And I use this bit of equipment all the time. It is under £10 on Amazon or on eBay. So it's very, very cheap. And basically you can use it two ways. You can use it landscape, or you can turn it the other way and use it portrait. So I put this on top of a tripod, again, a wee cheap tripod that I got on Amazon. And I use that for doing all my pieces of the camera, for doing my time lapses. You can take it off, set it on the ground. It is my go-to piece of equipment. So if you're going to get any one, I would definitely recommend that. You can also add a little mic and a light to that as well, but I'll talk about that in a wee second. So then a selfie stick, you've seen them, probably your kids or might have some, and selfie sticks are really good if you're doing kind of like travel videos or you're out by yourself. You can put it on you know, your phone and you're able to see it. So I would use that in holidays and things like that, that you could actually you know, get in the background, and it's a really easy way to make your videos. And then a mini tripod or a big tripod. So you can see there in the picture, there's the wee small ones that you could put on your desk. So if you're doing talks like this, and I'm sorry about that sunlight coming in, it just started to get a wee bit bright there. Or a long tripod as well, which is good for putting on like a ring light or something like that. So lighting your face, and this is the prime example of bad lighting coming in. So for those videos where you're filming a person or yourself, try to find the natural light. So I'll actually like put that round. So that's so much better because the window is on my face. So the natural light is better. Whereas you can see there, I'm only getting one light source coming in one side. So does your workshop or your office have big windows? If you want to stand near these, the natural light source will always be better, and always remember to keep the light in front of you. And one of the best ways to do this is, as I said, use the window there, the sun's passing, thank goodness. So if you were to film away from the window, you want to make sure that if the bright light is behind you, you need a bright light in front of you as well. So you might want to invest in a light of some sort, but definitely go outside if you can, or use a window. It definitely is the most flattering on your face. Okay, so lighting rings. So I always get asked lots about lighting rings, and actually in the range at the moment there is a really good one that's on sale, and I think it's for under £30. So if a window isn't going to work for you, you really want to purchase some lighting equipment. So one of the best things is to get a simple ring light. So a ring light is great because it creates an even light around you, and that's what you want to get, an even kind of light around your face. So you would see lots of beauty content creators or, you know, YouTubers using the ring lights, and because it creates that even lighting, and you'll always see like a little ring in their eyes. So if you wear glasses, however, a ring light sometimes doesn't work because you can actually see the wee bit of the reflection in your eye. So the best thing to do would be to get two LED lights. So you would put one here and one here, and they come with a little remote, and you can make it like warmer or colder. So if you're looking a bit blue, you can warm it up, and vice versa. So another tip is never shoot under overhead lights. So overhead lighting can cause some very unattractive visual effects. So sometimes if I'm out filming in places and there's the spotlights, it can give like a person like a big shadow of a big nose over here. So do look for other light sources and move around until you find the most flattering light, and get creative. If your current lighting setup isn't doing your subject any favors, do try to move to get better conditions. And you can also soften the light by using white card, like a whiteboard, or paper as a reflector. So you can bounce the light back up off your face, but that's something a wee bit more for advanced, you know, just try and find the natural light and you'll be grand. So also, if you're on camera, pastels and earth tones typically work best and are most flattering on people. So if you can see the picture beside me, the left is a wee bit jarring. So stick to colours in the middle of the brightness spectrum without much contrast, and stay away from very dark colours. And the dual colours do work, but sometimes if you wear like blacks and things like that, they can cast shadows on your face and make you look a wee bit harsher. So kind of stick to neutral colours if you can, but try not white kind of drowns out a wee bit. So the dual colours or the pastel colours work best. Okay, so now we've done lighting, we can now move on to sound. So I find the sound on phones, either iPhone or Android, are pretty good, but the moment that you start to move away from the phone, that's when the problems start. So don't move too far away from the microphone, and also be aware of background noises. So for example, if I'm like, I would film animals an awful lot, like cows and things like that. So if I'm in a field and I can't see the cow, but you can hear it, it's going to be distracting. But if you can see the cow and hear the noise, it's not as distracting, if you know what I mean. So always kind of think of the sound in the background. So depending on the type of video you're filming, you can either film the audio while you're doing it, or you can do it after as a voiceover. So there are microphones that you can use. For example, on the screen, there's a little lapel mic. So you can see there's a little fuzzy wind cover. So you would put that on it if you're outside and it's quite windy, and living here, it's always windy. So it's really good to cut down that sound, and it's just a little attachment into your phone. And if anybody's any questions later on, I can send recommendations of what I would use. Or you can get a shotgun mic, which again is the middle picture. So it can just go on the top of the little cage, pardon me, and it can be connected into your phone. But what I have been using lately, and you all might have them yourselves, is your earpods. They have a built-in mic at the side, and I've been using these loads, and it's really, really good. It means that I'm hands-free. I can walk about and I'm not attached to the phone. So get yourself a set of good earpods if you have them. So when you're filming, the main thing is to try and keep the shot steady. So you want to keep your hands as steady as they can. You can plant your elbows on a flat surface. You can crouch down and anchor them on your knees. But you want to be selective. The Instagram video can only be a minute long. So you need to really, think about the shots that you want to include in your story. So consider the current popularity of your company's culture posts and plan around the company outings and events to shoot fun and authentic videos. So just kind of really think of how can you portray your brand, your company, the best with the shots and the fun events that you're going to. So there's also slow-mo, which I would use for, say, if I'm doing something like watering a plant or doing something like that and I want it to look nice, or pouring a cup of tea and you want it to be nice and moody. Or you can do the time lapse, as I said, set it up, and even if you want to, I see a lot of people doing, they will just put a time lapse on them working on their computer and then just put up a quote box about something about their industry, and that's a really simple way of doing a video. Okay. So film and sequence. So think of how you're going to tell your story. Shot, scene and sequence. A shot consists of a single take, which can be several seconds or several minutes long. Hopefully it's not minutes on Instagram. And a scene is composed of several shots, while a sequence is composed of scenes. So if that makes sense. So you've got your shot, your scene and your sequence. So there's a girl on Instagram that is really good to follow, Olivia Higgins. It's a candle company. And so basically this is one of her Instagram videos. I've broken it down into the little scenes, the little shots that she made up her sequence with. So instead of just putting the candle into the box, what she did was she took a shot of her getting her stamp out, stamping the box, making the box up, taping the box up, then going and getting the candle, taking it off the shelf, putting in the little foamy bits, then putting the candle into the box, then putting it in her thank you card, then taping up the box. And it was a really lovely little video and a really nice way of just doing something different instead of just taking the candle off the shelf and putting it into the box. So think, it doesn't have to be this big, mad, elaborate video. Just break it down into simple shots. And because she was changing the scene every time, it was keeping the audience engaged as well. So top tips, if you are filming, put your phone onto airplane. So activate the flight mode, because so many times I've been doing a video and then my dad has phoned or my mum and you're like, oh, I have to start again. So make sure you do that. And then if you're shooting, just as I said earlier, you have the landscape mode and the portrait mode, just in case anybody needed to know what that was. Okay, so presentation tips. When you're filming, make sure you have a nice background. So I have put up the logo, it's the other side, I feel like a weather girl here. So the poster of the Enterprise Week. So, maybe put your branding of your product or your company behind you. Always smile. And if it is a serious video, obviously don't smile. But if you do smile, it just helps the audience connect with you a wee bit more, and it makes you feel a wee bit better as well. I always just try to smile and then go. So so always smile in all walks of life. And then make sure, as I said, start, middle and end. This will help this will make it easier to help you finish the video. Whenever I'm doing pieces of the camera, if you don't know what your out is, what your end sentence is, it's very hard to get there and you end up rambling. So make sure you know where you want to go. So what you want to say at the beginning, what you want to say in the middle and at the end. That is if you're doing talking videos. Okay, so how to relax and shine on camera. So these are all P's except for one of them. So the first one is to play around on camera. I always just kind of practice, even I would be doing this a lot, but I still kind of practice. So, what looks better? Does that sound good? That kind of thing. So just get out your phone and start practicing, and no one's going to see it, only you. So do give it a go. The second P is to personalize. So people just love you to be yourself, to personalize it, to make them it feel like it's your video, it's your brand, it's your kind of voice. And just make it more relatable to your audience. The third is pace, and I'm probably talking a wee bit too fast here today, but I'm trying to get through the whole video. But the pace is very important, and especially sometimes when people have different accents and things like that, so you need to get your ear to tune into it. So just make sure your pace is fine. And then the fourth, which isn't a P, it is excitement. So add excitement. So if I was to go on and say, hi, I'm Aislínn from Dream DIY, and this is my gardening tips, you're not really going to, engage. Whereas if I come on and say, hi, I'm Aislínn, and these are my top 5 gardening tips, I hope you enjoy. It's a wee bit more, upbeat, and you'll want to watch the video a wee bit more. And the fifth, that kind of leads on to passion. So hopefully if you are on here looking tips for your business, event or company, you're going to have passion for your job and what you want to talk about. So that should come naturally. And then the sixth one is pressure. Just take it off your shoulders. There is no pressure. This isn't live. You are doing it yourself. You can do it as many times as you want. So just keep on practicing and doing it until you get it right. But there's no pressure. It should be fun, and hopefully it'll become more fun the more you do it. And then the 7th is practice, practice, practice. As I said, the best way to get comfortable on camera is just to keep practicing and playing around with it. Get used to hearing your voice. It's probably the one thing that people are afraid of, is hearing your voice and seeing yourself on camera. And again, you don't have to be on camera. This is only for tips if you do want to be on camera. And I promise you'll see a slow and gradual improvement in your comfort level, and you'll start to feel more comfortable on camera. And also, this is a good tip that help you in all aspects of your job, speaking engagement. So just have fun with it and practice. Okay, so we're now on to editing. So I use a professional editing software for my main videos for my business, but I have come across one app that I think is very good, and it is Splice. So if you got this before, hopefully you can download it. So that's the 2 links to both of the apps on the Android and on the iPhone. It's a free app, but again, with all these apps, there's different kind of levels, but it's not that dear. And I find it's the best one that I've used. And also InShot is very good, and CapCut, but I do highly recommend Splice. So here is 2 YouTube links as well that you can take away. These are more in-depth videos of all the different features. So if you want to watch that at a later stage. So I'm going to now share a video that I did. It's just I just done it last night, of how to make a quick video. So it's going to show you how to use the app, and you'll have this to go back on. But honestly, the best way to learn how to edit is just by doing it. So just film a few things about your room and put them into the app and see how it works, trim it. It does get easier the more you do it, and the more you use the app, you'll learn more. So I'm just going to play the little video now, and hopefully this works.
So the first thing you need to do is to find the Splice app on your phone and open it. So you'll come to this page and you want to hit change media. So I'm going into my albums here, and I've already made one called webinar. So I was playing about this, so they already had a blue tick. So I just reselect them and then hit done. So once the videos are imported, you're going to select the video that you want to use. So once you've chosen all the videos that you want to use in your new video, then you will hit next. So you'll come to this page and you're going to enter your project title. Mine is webinar demo. And then once you do that, you'll see the aspect ratio. So here you can choose what you want the video to be. So that means what size you want the video to be. So we're going to make an Instagram Reel. So this makes all the dimensions for you. So you can see there are all the video clips that I want to use in my new video are on the timeline.
Here are my top gardening jobs for November.
So I want to trim this. So what you do is you select it, it'll go yellow, and then you just use the little arrows at either side to make it shorter or longer.
Here are my top gardening jobs for November.
So I'm happy with that. Then it's going to go into the next clip. So this clip is a wee bit long, so I'm going to split it. So again, you just tap it, and then this will come up and you'll hit split, and you can delete either side of it. And again, I want to make that shorter. So I'm going to split it again, delete the right hand side, and then I'm going to trim it. So I want to get rid of the audio in that as well. So if you hit volume, then you can mute it. So I'm now moving on to my next video, which is planting my bulbs. So I want to trim it as well. So again, just tap it and then use the arrows at either side. So you can see there, I'm just going to make them all about 2 seconds. So now I'm moving on to me cleaning my gutters. Again, it's too long, so I'm going to make it shorter. So you can use the arrows at the side. And this clip I put in by accident, so I'm just going to delete it off the timeline. And then this is me raking my leaves. We have hundreds of them in the house. So again, I just split it, deleted it. And then I'm going to highlight it again. And if you use the little scissors at the bottom, you can trim it there as well. Might be a little bit easier for you to navigate. And then I want to speed it up. So if you can hit the speed button and you can make it faster or slower. And again, I muted that before it as well. So there's filters as well. So there's all different colors, different profiles that you can use. So just go through and see which one you like the best. And if you don't like any, you can just go back to none again. So the next thing is adjust. There's all different kind of things in here. You've got the contrast, the exposure, saturation, sharpness. So again, this is just preference, just kind of play about with it. And then if you hit the little blue tick, you can apply that to all. So all your clips will be the same. There's also crop, so you can crop it if you want to go in closer or zoom out. And then there's all different things as well, all along the bottom, you know, chroma key, animate. So just play about with it to see what you want to use. So I wanted to show you reversing it. So that made the clip reverse, but if I don't want to use that anymore, you just hit the back arrow at the top and it will put the clip back to what it was. So again, I'm going to make this shorter. So I'm just using the arrows at the side. And I've got it down to about 2 seconds. So that is my video made. So that's all my clips in place. You can also overlay clips. So if you just highlight it, you can drag it to above the clip. So if you're explaining something, maybe you're talking to the camera and you want to show what you're doing, this is really easy to do. And then you just make that the size of the screen. And then if you don't want to do it, you just highlight it again and drag it back into the timeline. So you can also use transitions. So if you just click the little symbol in between the clips, there's all different kind of effects that you can use. So you can also add text. So I'm going to add my top gardening jobs for November. So you just type it in on the keyboard. I'm getting there. And then you can drag it across to wherever you want to put it. So there's all different things that you can do. You can change the font, you can change the text, you can put a background in to make it stand out a wee bit more. You can change the font, so you can use Instagram font. And again, this is the same if you want to try this out on TikTok. And then you can align the text if you want it in the middle, to the right or to the left. So all different things, but you can play about with that, and then you can turn down the opacity as well, or bring it back up again. So then there's other kind of effects, this glitchy kind of thing, you know, if you want to just jazz up your video. And again, if you don't want any of them, just hit cancel. So now I'm going to record my voiceover. It's as simple as just hitting voice, and then it will record your voice. And then once you're finished, you hit stop. And you can see there the audio waveform. And again, just like the video, you just go in, split it. If you want to tighten it up, take out any breaths. Again, it'll be a wee bit fiddly, but you will get the hang of it.
Here are my top gardening jobs for November.
Clear your drains, plant your spring bulbs, clear your gutters, and rake up all your leaves. So once you're happy with the audio, then you can add some music. So you can actually add music from the app, or you can add it in Instagram. So I'm just showing you how you do it. Just click on the music that you want, and the audio waveform will go on to your timeline. Now you'll want to bring this down the volume, so just bring it down to what you're happy with. Your spring bulbs, clear your gutters, and rake up all your leaves. So once you're happy with that, you can fade it in or fade it out. So once you're happy with that, then you can add captions. So I find it easier to do the captions in this app rather than on Instagram, because it can be a wee bit glitchy. So once you're happy with the captions, you want to drag them right across to the very end. You can hit edit and go in and clear up any spelling mistakes, sometimes our accents to pick us up wrong. So you just use it like any other editor. So once you're happy with that, you can save and export your video. So it will be saved into your photos on your phone. And then you just go into Instagram, go into reel, upload it as a reel. Then you can add music. If I didn't add music in the Splice app, you can add a trending audio sound from Instagram itself. So you can just go in, click it, and then what you want to do is bring that down and bring your camera audio up. Clear your dreams. So then all you need to do either in Instagram or in TikTok is add your caption, tag it, put in any of your real topics, things like that, and then hit the blue button and share, and that is your video. So I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, again, just let me know. But that is how I would use my phone to make a video for either Instagram or TikTok.
Okay, so hopefully, I know I kind of went through that quickly, but if you have any questions at all, hopefully we'll have a wee bit of time shortly. You can put them in the wee question and answer box. And again, if you go back to that YouTube link before, it goes into it in more depth, so you'll be able to get more information on it. So just other things to take note of, using trending music, as I did show you how to use it in Splice, but I would recommend using it within TikTok or Instagram, because I think it just helps it boost it better or rate it better. And then I talked about the 2-second rule. When it is possible, try and change up the shot. It's not always possible or necessary, but it does keep that interest going. Use captions, as I said, definitely, it does help engagement, and it helps people, you know, view your video if they do turn off the sound. Use the title. So I've left up a wee picture here at the side where you can see where the safe zones are. So because of Instagram and TikTok, there's text at the top and the bottom. You want to make sure that the text that you are putting in is not getting cut off, because you want to just be able to scroll through it and see it. So that is a little example of where it is safe to use it. And then, as I said, ask people to like, follow, or save your video. So as I said, there's hooks. So I recommend to follow these two guys. So at Brock11 Johnson and at the Marketing Club for lots of amazing tips. These two accounts have so much information about the best way to help get engagement in your videos. So a hook is something like, have you ever, and then you would put that in. These are all really good examples and ideas for your own reels as well. 5 things to avoid. So if you have something in your, you know, your business, 5 things to avoid, and then explain what you think they are. And here's a secret that such and such isn't telling. So these are just all prompts, and if you put these at the start of your video, it does hook in the audience. And stay till the end, I need your help, that kind of thing. So that's just a few wee examples of different hooks, but definitely go and follow those two guys. I learned loads from them. And then also other useful websites are Snap Insta and SnapTik. So if you are making your video on Instagram and you want to download it, if you download it just in the Instagram, you will get the logo. But if you put in the Snap Insta, it will take off that, and you can then upload it to TikTok and vice versa. Canva, you probably all use Canva. Canva is brilliant, and now it has a video section, so you can make videos on it as well. And then if you don't like Splice, InShot is also good. And teleprompter, I would use it sometimes if I have to do really detailed pieces to camera. So it'll bring up your script on your camera and you're just reading it as though you're remembering it. So teleprompter as well. And there's loads of them on the app stores. So I don't know why there's a green dot there. It shouldn't be there. So if you have any questions, now I'm happy to answer if I can answer them. And thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Sarah, are you there? Hello.
Hi, Aislínn. Yes, how are you doing? Thank you so much. That was brilliant. And I've just literally was looking at those bits with the hooks and was like, that's why I spend hours on Instagram, because those hooks get me in thinking it's going to save my life.
Yeah, no, they're really, really good. And it is like online, there's so many you know, people that are giving great examples of what to do and real ideas and things like that. So definitely go on and just kind of not copy them, but, you know, get some information.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of questions in, and anyone, if you have any more questions, just pop them straight into that Q&A and we can get to them while we're chatting. The first question in is, sometimes I see people holding a fob or a car key, like a keyring. Are these good for recording?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
I'm trying to think, is it maybe the bit on the back of the phone?
Maybe maybe it's like yes, I do know what she's talking about. Maybe they're like little road mics, so they're like a wee rectangle. They're very good, so they're a bit more expensive, but they're brilliant. You can use them on your phone, or you can use them on a proper camera as well, and they are a transmitter, so the transmitter goes on your phone and then the receiver goes on you. So yeah, they are very helpful when making videos.
Perfect. I think that was from Geraldine. Geraldine, if that was the right thing, would you just let us know we've answered that question for you, or if it's anything else, just pop it in the
And
Q&A.
if not, send me your email and I'll do a bit of research and get back to you.
Perfect. The next question in is, how do I find trending audio on Instagram?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I even still have issues with. So what I find is the best thing to do is when you're on Instagram, if you go into the reels, I don't know if you can see that, the reels one, where all the reels that people have put up, and you'll start to see the same song being played. And if you go into the music, let me see what you say. I'll turn it down so you can hear. So if you click the song, you will see a little arrow. I don't know, you can't see that, can you? No, it's too bright. There's an arrow that's pointing upwards, and that means the audio is trending. So if you find a song that you like in someone else's video, click the actual song and it'll go, and there's like a little arrow. And basically they say if it's under something like, 30,000 views, that's the time to start using it. So because then everyone's starting to jump on that kind of, so the smaller the number with the arrow, the more you should use it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, then you don't get lost on the masses. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Next question in is from Robert. Specific recommendations for accessories mentioned would be useful. I don't even want to go through those now. It might be worth, if you want to send me over a list as well,
I'll send over a list. But Amazon's probably that's where I would get all my kind of equipment, because it's just easier and they always have like good recommendations. But I'll put together a wee list. But if you're to get anything with video, I find sound, like you can get away with nearly bad enough video, but sound, people need to hear you. So if you are doing talking kind of videos, do invest in a microphone and a tripod and one of those, because it means you can go hands-free, you can put it up anywhere. I always have that with me. It's covered in paint, as you can see. That was the only thing I could get up into the attic as well when I was doing the installation, and my big camera was too big, so I had that on the wee tripod. So yeah.
Amazing, thank you. Next question is Splice a paid for app or free?
So it's a free app, but you can it's like all those apps, they're free to download, but the basic version is good. So yeah.
Perfect. We've just got two more in, and we'll go through those. Do you think it's more worthwhile to post videos often, even if they're not all top content, or post videos less often but better content?
So this is again something that I have been just testing out myself, but consistency is key. If I'm not posting my videos, your reach does go down. So just keep putting the videos up, and and also like I do, like everyone's saying post videos, but do like change it up a wee bit, do put up carousels are really good as well, which is like a couple of pictures at a time, on the carousel kind of thing. So just kind of go between carousels and reels. But that guy Brock, who I mentioned, go and look at his Instagram page. He puts up 3 reels a day, and it just shows you how quick an Instagram account can grow. But if you can't do it, because I know it is so hard to keep producing, just be consistent. If you're putting it up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's fine, or Monday and Friday, but just don't go put it up on a Monday and then disappear for 3 weeks and then put something up. If you are only putting it up once a week, put it up on the same day, kind of same time, so your audience will know when you're putting it up. And also stories, stories are the best, like to get your engagement. Just keep on putting up something on your stories a couple of times a day, and it keeps Instagram going. And then another, just a wee quick tip, if you are putting up a video, stay on the app for at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Go into other people's accounts, like their videos. Anyone that's commented on a previous video, I always comment on it before I post a video, because it'll give a notification that I have commented on their post, and then they'll see my new one, and they usually go then and comment on that video. So you need to stay, but just don't put up a video and then leave, because Instagram and TikTok don't like that.
So it's like a trade of the comments. I
Yeah,
like it.
exactly. They want you to stay on.
Perfect. We've got just a couple more. They're just flying in there, so I'll just go through them.
God.
Can you recommend a specific microphone?
So Rode mics are the best mics of all the kind of brands. But as I said, I have found my little earpods have been doing like really good the last wee while, because I always have them on, and so I'm out in the garden and everything, instead of going and getting the mic and putting the mic in, it's sometimes a bit more tedious kind of thing. So a little Rode mic or the earpods are good. But again, I'll get a wee list together and I'll send it to you that you can.
Thank you so much. The last question there is, you referred to the cage for the iPhone. Is it suitable for all phones or only iPhones?
No, it's suitable. It just depends. I'll just take it off there. It just depends on how wide your phone is. So there, I say there's my dad phone in. It always happens. So that fits my phone like that. So it just depends how fat your phone is, but it should, like, it's made for phones. So again, so I could film like that if I was doing like YouTube things, but for all my Instagram ones, it's more like that. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Perfect.
But again, these are cheap as chips, but they're definitely really handy to use.
Great, thank you. Yes, as mentioned, if you could pop that together in a list, that would be brilliant. If you send that across, I'll send that out to everybody. That's all the questions for today, and all we have time for. Aislínn, thank you so much. Such a thought-provoking and sort of stimulating session. That's brilliant. So much to take away there. Just for everybody attending, we'll be sending you all the slides from today's webinar to refer back to, and the recording will also be uploaded to the council's website as well, so you can watch this webinar again and come back to all the tips, so you don't have to remember it all from today. We'll also be sending around a short feedback form, which would be amazing if you could fill out. We'd love to hear your feedback on today's session to help council design next year's programme of events. Please be kind, of course. Don't forget, by attending today, you've been entered into a prize draw as well. Draws for all of the week will be made on Friday, so you could be winning a really great prize, so just keep an eye out for that. If you are a winner, one of the council officers will be in touch with you. Feel free as well to register for some more of the week's events. There's lots going on this week. It's all online on the council's website. And remember, they're all free and you can register right up until the start time. So again, on behalf of Middlesbrough District Council, thank you so much for your attendance today and interaction. I hope we're sending you away with lots of tips to use in your daily business. And a huge thank you as well then to Aislínn for running us through today's session.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.